Good morning, all of you. Little bit more energy, man. Good morning, yeah. Very, Maulik Saab, I think I must congratulate you for organizing this event so beautifully. It's not easy, as you said, and to sustain it over such a long period of time. So, really, I thank you on behalf of the industry to bring us all together. Dignitaries on the dais, Mr. Moitra, Mr. Goswami, Madam Ann, and Sanjay. Pleased to see you all. And I'm very delighted to be here today to be given this opportunity by the organizers to share some of my thoughts on a topic which is not only interesting, but also, I would say, very relevant to where we are today in the context of the country where our energy industry is. I mean, as many of you know, that more than 3/4 of our energy needs are currently being imported. So we are a massive importer of the energy. So I think when we talk about this revitalizing, we have to have some drivers. And I think the two main drivers, as I saw it, are actually the conservation of the foreign exchange, which is very difficult for us to balance the balance of payment, I mean, to maintain the balance of payment issue. We have to become an exporting country, not an importing country, for the long-term economic stability. And also, I think there is a great emphasis from the government and ONGC, Oil India, to see how we can provide the energy security to the country. Because I think the over-dependence on import in the long run is not good. I mean, I think coronavirus has given a sort of a wake-up call that how different countries are becoming so dependent. When you become so dependent on a country or import, then how it can impact you. So I think we need to move away from this. I think these are the two main drivers for doing this. And as Mr. Moitra said, that what we are planning or what we are talking about revitalizing the mature field is not something new. I mean, the industry has been doing this for quite some time. And I was also very pleasantly surprised that when we look at the statistics and data, that 70% of today's world production is coming from mature field. Because the easy oil is gone. I mean, I think those were the days in 70s, 80s, when people were literally opening the tap and finding oil. I think that era is over. And everybody is working on the mature field. I mean, 70% of the total global production, we are talking about 60 million barrels, 65 million barrels per day of oil is being produced for the mature field. And this is only going to improve because surely, I mean, we can feel it, that the technology has improved a lot over the years. And with the advancement of digital, IT, all those technologies is getting better and better. So I don't think this is a challenge how to prolong the life of the mature field. It is going to happen. And this is a sort of a it all depends on how you approach. And this is a cross-section of a reservoir. Actually found this quite interesting. What it says is that how proactive you are in managing the reservoir is what is going to give us a good result. If you start on the right topmost quadrant, if you, like Mr. Moitra said, the whole data analysis, big data, and you do all those data analytics, and if you are able to predict the type of reservoir, quality of reservoir, and what it takes to manage that reservoir, the maintenance of the reservoir, how you manage, how you product, how you build your production profile, I think that by itself, without spending any money, should be able to prolong the life of the reservoir. That's the first thing, very basic. But I think sometimes we don't do it because there is a pressure to produce more, so we don't manage or we don't handle the reservoir quite well. Short-term needs sometimes overtake the long-term interest. So I think that's one which is the least cost prolongation opportunity. If you miss that, then still there is an opportunity to use the secondary means like gas lift and EOR and all sorts of things. You still have an opportunity to spend more, little bit more, but still keep the cost curve low and prolong the life. And as you go down further, I mean, if you miss that, then you are talking about significant cost, drilling more wells, and taking more time. And finally, I think in the last quadrant is what we are talking about is a substantial amount of money to prolong the life and exploit the matured field. So I think it's all about how proactively you manage your reservoir using the knowledge and which can be now enhanced using the digital technology, and how proactively you use the available technologies. I think that's the key message I wanted to give. And I think it's all about, when you talk about revitalization, what it means is shift the marginal curve to the right. More you shift to the right and lesser the slope, and I think you are achieving your objective. That's what we are trying to do here. How can I prolong the life of the field, and how can I keep my cost of production low? And I think this has been phenomenally done well in US, and again, Mr. Moitra spoke about that in the shale gas, and it's amazing that how what used to be a $100 break-even systematically in a very short period of time. We are not talking about decade here. We're talking about between 2014 to 2017, 2018, within 3-4 years' time. As I understand today now, the break-even has been brought down to even $40 a barrel. So that is amazing, and that is actually just application of technology, application of mind, and more importantly, having that determination to do that. And it came out of the necessity, right? I mean, the oil prices came down, and this industry would have shut down. So much money and capital would had been invested. Everything would have gone up in the air. So they had to do it, and they did it. So like we are taught in the school, I think desperate situation brings the most innovative solutions. And then, like, the necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, this is what we grew up, learning from our school teachers. And it still applies today, that when you have a situation, then you think of innovative methods and ideas and innovative technologies. And that is where we are today as a country. We are depleting resources. We have a demand growing, needs are growing, economy is growing, and we need to find really a desperate solution to see how we can prolong the precious reserves we have within our country. Now, I think, so it's not so much about implementing the innovative technology as I see it, because the technology is available. I think a lot has been done. I mean, data analytics, data logging, artificial intelligence, IoT-based technologies, and you name it. I mean, how to improve productivity. All these things are now available, and it is growing very, very fast. So I think it is available at the tip of your finger now if you want to access it. The most important thing in my thinking is not so much about the technology, it's about innovative thinking. We have to think differently. And we cannot accept status quo, because we have to challenge ourselves. I think people, like he said, I mean, it took some time for the whole team to sort of understand the benefits of it. I think we have to move away from that quite fast, be very open to accepting these new methods and new technologies, learn shamelessly from others, and see what is happening, and apply that. Unless you challenge yourself and push the envelope, we will not be able to prolong the life. I mean, that's what Truman said, is that, challenge the status quo. The 4 key things what happened in the shale gas in a very simplified form is that the very, very systematic analysis of what are the cost drivers in the whole production. Very simple approach. What are the key cost elements, high cost elements? How do I eliminate them, all the value leakage paths? How do I mitigate the risk which is adding to my cost? And more importantly, and most importantly, I would say, that all these things, how do I do it with speed? Speed is very important, because if you miss, then the opportunity is lost. And we think that we have a lot of time, but we don't have. So we have to move very, very fast on this. And I think in terms of technology available, whether it be subsurface data logging and data analytics, or be on the surface, I mean, we at L&T, we are doing huge amount of digital work in our project execution through IoT-based, through QR codes, and everything, Bluetooth, I mean, all possible machine learning, connected workmen, connected machines, everything we are trying to do to improve the productivity, including an integrated project management platform so that we can talk about single truth to provide a fast delivery. All these things are available, and so be it also in the operation and maintenance side. There are a lot of tools now available for predictive operation and maintenance to maintain the uptime and reduce the downtime and provide more machine hours. So these technologies are available. And I think what I would say is the key here is that the transformation if you want to do, revitalization you want to do, I think what is required is a combination of innovative thinking with the application of innovative technology. I think technology is available. I think more is the mindset change, and we have to start really doing innovative thinking, innovative methods, and challenge ourselves to see how best we can use this technology. I think we are not very far. We have a great organization with the ONGC, with their R&D facilities, similarly Oil India, and also some of the private organizations, and so many other mature fields are now, more and more people are entering. We are all together in this. We are partners. We have been working with ONGC for almost 20, 25 years. We are very excited, and we want to work with all the stakeholders to see how we can prolong the lives and create something more value for the country. Thank you very much.